On this show, you'll find inspiration, motivation, and advice from experts, as well as valuable tips on how to get started or improve your business. Let's dive into how you can begin and grow your wisdom business. Inspiring others looks different for everyone. How will you inspire? Welcome to the Wise Stone podcast, and today we're chatting with Anjum. And Anjum worked for the corporate world for many years. Frustrated with her job, she decided to take the plunge and teach all her secrets, her learnings and experiences to business owners so they can build a community and scale their business. Anjum is a self-confessed social media obsessed content creating nerd who turned her passion into a career. Anjum, welcome to the Wise Stone podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
It's lovely having you here. And I'd love to know, when you started out, obviously, going through corporate, the whole churning of life, it becomes quite monotonous. What point broke you and actually made you decide that's it?
In the initial days itself, I started realizing that it was something not for me because, I love having location-based freedom. I wanted to travel, I wanted to visit my family, and I wanted to have some sort of financial, freedom, creative freedom to do what I love and not have work that is repetitive and is doing the same thing over and over and over again for each day. It was getting I was definitely not into it. I didn't like sitting in a cubicle the whole day. I wanted to go out whenever I wanted to. It's something I wouldn't say that I'm against the corporate culture or something like that, but I definitely felt that it was not for me. It was not for the things that I was looking for, so I quit. It was not immediate decision. I would say, like, I didn't decide the night before and quit the next day because you have to think about the income and all of that stuff. So I started researching a little bit. I started seeing what are the different areas that would give me the things that I'm looking for. Started looking for courses, mentors. Started saving up my salary so that I could invest further and have some backup before
Wonderful.
before I started earning the same amount. So I stuck with it and invested in a mentor, took a course, started working as a freelancer, things like that. And when I quit, so I had a little backup from my previous salary as well. And that kept me going for some time until I was stable in my business. And after freelancing for a long time, then I shifted to creating my own business. And now I coach people on marketing and social media marketing and Instagram marketing specifically.
That's amazing. And that's so good that, you planned, because some people, it's like, I can't deal with this. That's it. They just throw the bucket in straight away. And if they do, fantastic. It's all great for them. But the fact that you actually did think it through, but I have to point out the fact that you did actually think of getting a mentor first and invested in yourself. That is such a good thing to sort of share with our audience, because obviously anyone who's starting to do something like this, you don't have to do it on your own. And look, if you can't afford a mentor, you don't have to get a mentor, but incorporating yourself, putting yourself within a group of like-minded people is so beneficial, because we all think we can do it on our own, don't we, sometimes? And we need that little bit of assistance or that, what ifs or how abouts, those questions thrown at you.
So getting a mentor is like life changing. I would say anyone who is listening, like, if you are at the verge, then please go ahead and do it, because it makes a world of difference. You get that path, you get that channel to do stuff. You don't have to keep searching 100 different resources or 100 different sources for one piece of information. You have it all there, and that is worth it. That is worth your time. That is worth your money.
Yeah, exactly. And so obviously, so you went through that process of, self-development and making sure that, you had your sort of eggs in a row, ducks in a row, we call it. How did you actually translate that into actually starting the wisdom business then? Did you like to build that audience, etc.?
Yeah, so initially when I started with a mentor, then I took a course and I started working on freelancing, I would say, like I worked with a lot of clients as a freelancer. I used to
Yeah.
get gigs from networking, like basically in Facebook groups, from all of this Upwork and all of that stuff. But I started when like I had experience and I knew how things were working. I started getting a few clients that wanted to know how things work.
Right.
When they wanted, because when it comes to social media, having a personal touch is like really important, and sometimes people love to do it for their businesses and for their brands, so but they lack the strategy. They wanted to know how to do it in the, I would say, like the perfect timing, right?
Mm.
So then I transitioned, I would say, into coaching, because I was starting to get a lot of inquiries that said, do you have a one-on-one coaching where we could learn how you do it so that we could
Yeah.
do it on our own? That
Yes.
was that was like a light bulb moment. It's like, okay, I can do this,
Yeah.
right? So that is what happened, and that is when I transitioned into coaching. But I still keep doing the marketing, social media marketing, I would say,
Mm.
but not as much as coaching.
As coaching. Yeah. And to coach, so when you're coaching, do you also create a number of, I guess, content assets to pass on to, those who you coach so they can take it away? So almost like you're coaching / creating courses to a degree. Like, how are you coaching? Do you follow a particular program, a checklist, or do you, how do you actually create that coaching program around something that is almost like step orientated?
Yeah, it's definitely step oriented, as you said. Um, so right now, what we're doing is, we connect through these sessions. Some prefer to do it weekly, some prefer to do it bi-monthly,
Mm.
things like that, whichever works for them. And then we connect and we discuss a certain topic that is, of course, going from the ground up,
Mm.
having a proper content strategy and everything. So it's what I like to do is not really spoon feed people,
Yeah.
right? I want them to do the work, right?
Yeah.
If I give you exactly, like, follow these content pillars, follow these content topics, and make this content for a month and things like that, then what you would do is do it then, and then forget about it the next month. I
Mm.
want to give you the basics of how you can do it repetitively, how you can do it month after month, year after year, that you have that basic of how the content works on Instagram, so that you can do it again and again, the repetitive thing. So
Yeah.
that is what I focus on, getting the basics and getting the strategy out there for them. Of course, there are frameworks, of course, there are step by step procedures and tutorials that we all
Yeah.
discuss. Uh, but I wouldn't say that it is like a spoon feeding kind of a thing.
Well, you explain the whys too, isn't it? Because when someone understands why they're doing something, it becomes a little bit easier for them to
Yeah,
do the
true, true.
house of it. So I have to ask you then, so, going through that process, did you discover sort of any feedback from, your students that you were coaching on how you were coaching them? Like, did you change anything, or have you just sort of grown and you just base it on who you're coaching at the time?
Yeah, I think when you start coaching, especially, you start noticing things yourself. Like,
Mm.
even if people are giving you the feedbacks, and even if they are not, because they might give you the feedback regarding the material, or the timing and things like that. But when you start doing it yourself, you start realizing a lot of things. You might be thinking, let's take an example for the reels thing that I do, right? The reel strategy. So it comes after we have discussed the content strategy, we jump right into doing the reels thing. And when I started noticing that I had estimated, okay, it might take one coaching session and we'll be done with the reels thing, and then I can jump onto Instagram stories the next session. But when I started doing it, I started realizing that it's not that everyone takes one coaching session for it, because it's a
Yeah.
one-on-one thing that you're doing, and it's not a pre-recorded course. It is
Yeah.
happening one-on-one. Sometimes opposite person has questions. Sometimes they are not really familiar with what is happening, and they need a lot of guidance, I would say, from the base level up. So sometimes it's just not one session. It might go up to two sessions, like things like that. So how are you making room for that dynamic changes that are happening right there, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's about the timing. Sometimes, when you're teaching, you realize that, okay, this is the thing that I forgot to, add in. Like, you realized it along the way. Okay, this point is really important. I need to note it down so that I can add it in the material, right? So one-on-one coaching is what I feel it keeps evolving with each of your students, right? You get so many.
Yeah, and that's what I was actually going to ask you, because so many people, like, they'll go through a coaching, or there'll be packages, for example, on how to support someone to start off with their social media and, planning, all that sort of stuff, and then coming up with, what's your brand strategy, what's your, the goal, etc. But I have to ask, and I find this quite often, a question asked in some groups and so forth. How do you continue that? Is there a way that, as a coach, especially in something such as this with social media coaching, that you can continue that relationship with your students? So it's like this is more on the business side of things now, that continuous income is there for you. Otherwise, you're constantly reaching out for more and more people. It's sort of like, if I've helped you, move on. Or do you revisit them again? You say, look, work on this for the next 3 months, and then you come back again. How do you work that side of things?
Yeah, so it's definitely like, initially when I started out, it was definitely not something like, work on this for a certain time and then come back to me. What I did, because, when it comes to social media marketing, let's consider for Instagram, like, I cannot just teach them, content strategy and leave them for 3 months. Right?
Yeah.
There are so many moving parts. There are stories, there are DMs, there are other content formats, all of different. Those are all moving parts. And when you have all of the information, is when you will have a very solid Instagram marketing strategy. So that is something that I found, that I cannot, like, give half of the information and leave for them for execution. Like, I have to give them the entire information so that they have the entire solid proof content strategy. I, of course, have a relationship with them. We have a common. I have started a Facebook group for them so that they can get in touch with me.
Good.
Like, ask questions and things, like, we connect over some of the, I would say, like, sometimes sessions that we do, like any updates that Instagram is bringing and things like that. And some of them also, like, I have also given them the option of coming back for consultations, like short consultations. Like, if they have any questions, they could definitely get their 90-minute consultation. And that is something a lot of my students sometimes come back to, just for a refresher and just for discussing things.
Awesome.
So that is one way that I'm doing it. And of course, when you are in the one-on-one level, you are definitely thinking and planning to go more on a passive thing, like building a course in the future, or that is definitely there. You want to move to a group setting, you want to move to a coaching thing and into a course ultimately. But what I feel is, it's a step-by-step thing, right? You start with a one-on-one level, you start with a group setting, so that you have much better experience while you're creating a course, as I said, because you don't want to miss out on anything, because course is something people want to do on their own. Like, I cannot put in information and pitch in information as soon as it comes to my head. That is not what happens with course. You have to have everything ready and set.
Planned, yeah. But it's good too, because you've got that group there, and you can actually discover from that group what they, what course topic you should introduce. Because sometimes we might think this would be like the introductory course to social, but in actual fact, they probably want a different topic for a course, subject, especially when it's within your group and so forth. So it's obviously, it really is really reading your audience and reading what they want. So having that group next to your coaching, which is such a good point to let, our audience know, especially if you're going into that coaching environment. We say, yes, it's one-on-one. However, those students should have something else to sort of help, I guess, the dome, create, sort of that environment for them, so they can all have access to something else, to all talk to each other or whatever, next to that whole coaching side of things. It also builds up your profile too. They can all talk about you in that group. How have you personally grown in the way that you actually share your wisdom after all, going from corporate into this now?
Oh, I I have changed massively. Like,
Yeah.
I sometimes think back and look back actually in my journey, and I was like, oh my God, was that me? Like, is that me right now though? Like,
Yeah.
there are so many changes. Like, I'm more confident right now in myself, in making decisions,
Oh,
doing things that I was so uncomfortable doing. I'm a very introverted person, very shy person,
yeah.
never like camera ready, uh, things like that.
Yeah.
So that has definitely changed. Like, I'm getting comfortable doing, videos, getting in front of camera, speaking to camera, putting myself out there, I would say, as a business owner,
Yeah.
because, in this time when Instagram and everything is becoming competitive, having an edge and showing up as yourself to your business as a unique personality. So I think that is definitely an added advantage for your brand and for your business. So I have like grown in every aspect of my life, I would say. Like, I am your business makes you a lot disciplined, I would say. It
Mm.
will also make you more aware of yourself.
Yeah.
Before it was just go get the work done, come back from office and just chill and do things like that. But now you're looking at self-improvement, you're looking for self-development, you're looking at improving your existing skills,
Yes.
you start realizing the worth of self-investment. Like,
Yes.
that is the biggest change that has happened to me. So any aspect of my life, I'm like, okay, where can I invest to make it better?
Yeah.
Can I find someone that can help me make it better? Like, I'm not thinking in terms of, maybe it is an expense. Like, even when it comes to, let's say, for example, my health or things like that, I would definitely invest in a nutritionist. I would definitely invest in a
Mm.
dietitian right now to make better choices, because I have realized the importance of investing in myself and the areas which definitely need that. So, a
Yeah.
lot changes when you start your business.
It is. It's so true. And you really hit the nail on the head there. It is about self improvement. When you go out and start your own business, it's this
Yeah.
whole development. You're constantly developing, aren't you? You're constantly reevaluating things. It's not, just that typical day, you like robotic, you just go to work, you do what you have to do, come home, you live it. It's just like we said at the beginning, like it's not that monotonous. It's nothing about starting having your own business is monotonous at all. It's constantly putting fires out or starting a fire wherever you can. It's just amazing
Yeah.
how, and I really, I love that the empowerment that it does give you, when you start a business, because you do go into that whole self-development. And, if you have a family or you have people around you, I can imagine how many people have probably mentioned to you how you've changed and, a lot more lighter
Yeah.
probably about
Yeah.
things as well. Perspective of things does change a lot too. With that then, what advice would you give anyone that's looking to start a wisdom business?
Oh, like, if you have an idea and you want to execute it and you believe that you can do it, it's worth it. Please go ahead and give it a chance, because later in life you don't want to be just sitting there thinking out. Maybe I should have given it a try. Maybe things would have worked out. Maybe not. So it's just about giving it a chance, giving it a try. And if you feel like finance would be obstacle, or income would be something that you would struggle with, then take some time to save up, take some time that would prevent that first, I would say, frustration or that fear from your
Mm.
mind, that even if it didn't work out for a while, I'm good. Like, I have some funds, I have some income, I have some savings that will keep me going for this amount of months. So if you have that fear of maybe your income would suffer, and maybe that things you would be at a loss and things like that. So save up so that you don't have that fear and you can go all in on your business and take that chance. Like, so try to identify those fears, try to identify the things that are keeping you back from taking that step, and like, go ahead and pick everything out, take actions to remove those obstacles, and just give it a chance, because trust me, it's definitely worth a try. You're
Yeah.
going to be shocked at your own abilities and your own capabilities of how much you are capable of, and how great things that you all can do.
Oh, that, Anjum, that is the first time. And it's that advice is perfect. I like that is so true. the fact, this is the first time someone's actually pointed out the fact that recognize what your fears might be and just acknowledge them. See how you can try and fix it. And usually it's that fear of, how am I going to support myself? So prepare, start saving. And that is such a good point, such a good point. I appreciate you saying that. That's really good. So obviously, social media is all about, building interest and, therefore a followership and so forth. So I'd love to know, the way in which you deliver your content that resonates with people.
Okay. So, I would say, especially when it comes to social media, there are a lot of wisdom-based businesses, as you said. There are a lot of coachings, and sometimes they happen to be in the same zone, right? When I say Instagram coaching, there are a lot of Instagram coaches out there, and sometimes the new people who are trying to come in, the first thought that comes to their mind is, there are so many people that are doing the same thing that I do, right? There are so many Instagram coaches, there are so many gut health coaches, there are so many life coaches, so many wellness coaches. So how do you think I will stand out, or why do you think people will come to me? That is like the first obstacle anyone that comes to me. And then there are so many people that are doing the same thing as me. Like, why do you think I would get the clients and not them? So I definitely say, first of all, we are such a population. Like, there in Instagram itself, we are 1 billion people who are using Instagram right now. Right? That is crazy. And out of that, almost 500 million people are there that are using the platform on a daily basis. Right? So again, when it comes to you, you have your unique personality. The way you deliver content is different. The way you teach people is different. So don't let yourself think that it's something because a lot of people are doing, I might not get a chance. Everyone has their own audience, right? Everyone learns in a different way, and maybe that is the way you teach, right? And not the other person. So the people who like to learn in that way would definitely come to you, right? So what I feel my strength is when I'm coaching is I like to keep things as short, simple, and straightforward, cut to the point that it should be easier for them to follow. I don't want to use complicated words. I don't want to, in terms of strategy, I don't want to give things that people cannot follow, right? As I said, it's definitely not spoon feeding, but I want to make sure that they have understood the basics that go behind it, right? If I take an example of Instagram algorithm, like I don't want to give them things that doesn't make sense. I want to give them the step-by-step actions or strategies that will clearly make them understand how things work in an algorithm. What is the basic of it? What is the base formula of why it does certain things that happens, things like that. So I would say that is my area of genius, a zone of genius.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, the zone of genius. That's right. And it's interesting because, we do have those moments of, why would anyone come to me when there's so many other people out there? What's my point of difference? But yeah, we all have our zone of genius too. You've got to find what it is that you can offer differently, but you will discover that along the way. It's just, you got to give it time, don't you? Everyone has to give it time, but you've got to believe in yourself too.
Yeah, that's such an important point. Time is something that you have to give it, like patience and consistency, and time is something it's like non-negotiable, right? What is happening is a lot of people are looking for virality. They are like, okay, I want to put a content out there and go viral. I want to go viral. I want to get a lot of followers from it. I want to grow my profile like in a day or two. Like if I put a piece of content and goes viral and I get 1 million views and I get 10,000 followers from that, like I'm done. Everyone is looking for this shortcut processes of going viral and in those numbers. So it's definitely something that I feel is not a right strategy to do, because it's something not a reliable thing. You might attract 10,000 followers, but how many qualified leads and qualified ideal clients have you attracted
Exactly.
in that 10,000 people?
Exactly.
Right. So
It's
give
about
it time.
sustainability. It's you've got to be able to sustain
Yeah.
that. You can't just go viral one day and then think you've made it. Those people
Yeah.
who you are comparing yourself to, which you shouldn't, but those people who have hit success and so forth, they've been consistent. They have
So
grown slowly. And yes, you can do that too. You'll just do it in your own way, your own
yeah.
personality, your own character. But viral, I understand. You do get people that just, I want to hit it, speak straight away. Okay, fine, if that's what you want to do, but that's not what I teach. Like,
Yeah.
patience. And it's
I have had
sustainable.
some inquiries. Yeah, I have had some inquiries that come and ask for that specific thing. Like, can you help? Can you teach me make viral videos? Can you teach me go viral on Instagram? I'm like, no.
Sorry,
That
I
is
can't
not
help
what
you,
I
love.
do.
Well, that would lead me to the next question, really. What's the biggest challenge you're facing right now with your business and, how you're, to grow and so forth? What's your big challenge that you have at the moment?
Oh, yeah, I would say challenge is the time in exchange for the income that I'm doing. It's because if I'm still in the one-on-one business model, trust me, I love it. Okay,
Yeah.
I have been sticking to it for the longest time because I love doing it. I love interacting with people on a one-on-one level, because what I feel is every individual is different, and the way they grasp the knowledge, the time that they take to grasp the knowledge is really different. So I like to give them that flexibility, the time, and the knowledge in the way that they want to consume it. So interacting with all of this incredible individuals all over this world from different parts of the world, and listening to why they're doing their business and all of that passionate things, it really is my favorite thing. But I definitely feel like at this moment, with all of the one-on-one work that I'm doing, it's exchanging my time for the income, and I definitely want to move to a more passive business model.
Yeah.
But I would
Slowly,
definitely
slowly.
not do it completely. Yeah, I would not completely change or remove my one-on-one thing, because that is something that is unique to me, and I love doing that.
You
I
love
would
doing it.
definitely
Yeah.
do some part of it,
Yeah.
but definitely move at least half of my things to a passive source for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's very good. I'd love to ask, because you mentioned, that in regards to challenge and listening, how when you do your one-on-ones, and the exciting thing is just when you actually talk to your clients and you discover the different ways in which they grasp the knowledge that you're passing over to them and the information. What's the most common way you find is the best way to share the information over to them? Is it through video? Is it through actually handing them through like a PDF that they download and follow? What way do you find is easy for them to grasp?
I think it's the video, right? When it's especially because we are working remote, we are connecting on Zoom, and when you see at least the other person's face and you see the way they're reacting to any piece of information that you're giving them, you get a knowledge. Okay, the person is understanding it, not understanding it. Even that is a different connection when you see other person's face, because as humans, we are made to connect with each other, looking at each other. So I think through videos, and I have like a whole PDF presentation as well, because if you just keep speaking and speaking and they do not have some visual aid, then it becomes difficult. You definitely want to have some visual representation as well. So
That's what I was
I
going to ask
feel
you. Do you do screen sharing as well through it?
yes,
Yeah.
screen
Okay.
sharing as well. So I think the presentation, as a little bit of visual representation of the topics, and with a video is the best way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. On a side note, I would like to ask you, what legacy are you looking to leave?
Oh wow. Legacy. It's a big word.
It is,
So
isn't it?
yeah, definitely something empowering, something for people to believe in, and that makes them go like, "Yeah, I need to take that action, and it's going to be okay. It's going to work out. It's going to be fine. And even if didn't, I'm going to be fine, and I'll bounce back with something." So that is, I think, the thought or um, the um, the thing that I want to leave behind is that mindset, I would say.
Yeah. And that's really nice because that's very much in line with what I'm trying to do. Let people know that you can do it. It's okay.
Yeah.
You can do it. Well,
Yeah.
you've been absolutely amazing to chat to today, Anjum. And I would love to ask you, with respect to, what you coach, what is
Mhm.
the best thing let me rephrase that. When it comes to coaching, especially when it comes to coaching in social media and teaching people how or the whys, when it comes to they're trying to build their brand, which is usually the situation, building their brand or building their profile. What's the biggest point that you could share with our audience today on the most important thing that they should really concentrate on, especially in social media when they're building their brand?
Oh, that's an important question, I would say. So it's basically the content. Content is something you need to concentrate on. It's the upfront for your brand, it's the upfront for your business. That is the way you're showing up for your business, right? So a lot of people, what they do is they focus more on these DMs, sending direct messages and
Mm.
interacting with people, which is also really important. But use content. Like, content is the king, and it is the upfront for your brand, and it should be doing the heavy lifting for you, right? It should be doing and should be serving a purpose. So I always tell this to all of my students and anyone that asks me about content is create content with a purpose, right? With an intention behind it. Just don't put your content out there for the sake of likes and comments and followers. That those are just numbers and vanity metrics.
Yeah.
What you as a business should also be concentrating should be on getting more leads, getting more inquiries in your DMs, getting more sales. So your content should be serving all of those different purposes as well, rather than just getting likes and sales, right?
Yeah.
So it should be helping you show up as an expert in your industry, helping you build that trust factor with your audience, helping them get to know you better, your business better, the backstory of your business, and all of that good stuff. So use your content as the upfront. Use your content to get connected with your audience, and like just do it with a purpose. Just don't do it for the sake of these numbers. I would say,
Yeah.
like, if I
Yeah.
didn't get any likes, but still got five, six leads in my DMs, got some signups for my email list, got a few inquiries in my DMs, I would be more than happy. I don't mind if I didn't get likes on that piece of content. That is where I think a lot of business owners are going wrong and getting stuck in that loop of content creation, because they're creating content back one after the another, thinking, okay, I didn't get likes on this, maybe I'll get it on the another one, maybe on the next one, maybe on the
Okay.
next one. It's like a loop. It's happening back and back, and they're
Yeah.
not going anywhere from it. They get frustrated. They're like, okay, Instagram is not working for me, and they're like, okay, maybe I should just quit and find another platform that works for me.
Yeah. What about all the tags, like the hashtags, this and so forth? Is that really important? Because I don't understand it myself. Because when you mention content, I'm presuming, obviously the hashtags or the words, the keywords, all that sort of stuff. Does
When I
that
say
play a huge
content,
part?
yeah, so when I say content, it's, I would say, the posts, this Instagram stories, the reels, the carousels that you're putting up. So that kind of content. Hashtags is like a different. Of course, you're adding it in your content after your
Mm.
caption and things like that. But Instagram is becoming a more powerful search engine right now. Initially, in hashtags were the only way that your content was classified, or your content was categorized and it was searchable. Like, if I put in a hashtag and then I would find your piece of content,
Right.
but that is not anymore. So you have a lot of search engine options going on in Instagram right now. Your content is being categorized with the words that you are using in your captions, with the text that you're using,
Right.
basically with the topics that you're covering in your content. So they are becoming more aware and more powerful, and giving more importance to the keywords and SEO, as you said. That's why
Mm.
hashtags, I would say, are and starting to lose their importance, but
Yeah.
they're still there.
They're
They're
still
still
there.
there, but Instagram itself has come out and told, first we were allowed to use 30 hashtags, and they were, after like few months back, they were suggesting you can use two or three. that's more than enough for your post. So you can definitely see how the trend is going. They want to take the overwhelm out of hashtags and focus it more on this search engine optimization of your content.
Yeah, on the content. Yeah, it's interesting because when you're mentioning content and, you see, I use Instagram and I see, some of the posts that go up and it just feels like there's this one sentence, but then there's like a million hashtags underneath it. And I'm like, what are they trying to say? And, it's more just about the visual in the end, which, yes, Instagram is about the visual, but, sometimes you want to read what the visual is about and all you're seeing is just all these hashtags and sometimes the hashtags don't even relate to the actual visual. It drives me insane.
That is like a common mistake. People tend on using more famous and more bigger hashtags, thinking they get more exposure, but it's the opposite way and it couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah. I remember being told once, I think it's, if you're going to use a hashtag, use a word that is, I think, less than 20,000 or something like that. Don't go for the million because it means that you're one in a million.
You find the balance. Doing that if you are a smaller account initially, at least, because a person who has 10,000, 20,000 followers has a better chance at ranking in a million hashtag rather than you, right? So think about the size of following you have to.
Yeah. Balance all of that out. But content is king, just like you said. It's very important. Yeah. Well, like I said, you've been fabulous to chat to today, Anjum. You've provided a huge amount of wisdom there, especially with your advice and just, especially if, looking to start a wisdom business. Think about the fears that you might have and how you can overcome those fears beforehand and so forth. What offer would you like to share with our audience today?
I would love that. So, as I mentioned that I love working one-on-one with people and getting to know and help them guide and make their businesses better on Instagram. So that is what I would love to offer to your audience. My one-on-one coaching program, which I would love to offer a 20% discount as well. So, of course, you're going to give them the details in your show notes and everything. But still, if they want to know more about the coaching sessions, they can get connected with me and we can go from there.
Awesome. Well, again, the details will be of Anjum's offer will be in our podcast summary below. Be sure to click on the link and don't forget to subscribe to the Wise Dome podcast. Thank you again, Anjum, for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to the Wise Dome podcast. If you enjoyed and have been inspired by this episode and you'd like to support the podcast, do subscribe and please share it with others. Post about us on social media or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from me, Nikki Kelly, you can follow me on Instagram at Wise Dome Podcast, WISEDOME Podcast. I'm Nikki Kelly. Thanks again, and we'll catch up next time.